En ég ætla að bjóða fundarstjóra Jakob Jakobsson velkomin og þú tekur þá við fundi dagsins. Bara frábært að sjá okkur og góða skemmtun. Takk fyrir.
Gaman að sjá okkur svona mörg og hjartanlega velkomin á Ferðamálaþing. Ég var beðinn að vera stuttorður, við höfum langt prógram fyrir höndum og ætlum að klára þetta svona cirka á slaginu 12. Mér langaði samt að segja frá einum skemmtilegum sið sem var til á okkar fyrsta ferðamálaþingi fyrra og það var sá siður að frummælendur átt að segja frá einhverju sem veri uppáhalds. Og við ákvæmum að gera enga breytingu þar á núna í ár og við ætlum að biðja að ég mun segja frá því sem að frummælendur hafa sem uppáhalds á höfuðborgarsvæðinu. Og það í ár, þá báðum við fólkum að nefna annars vegar uppáhalds útivistarsvæðið og svo safnið. Ég byrja á mér. Uppáhalds útivistarsvæðið mitt Öskjuhlíðin, ég stoltur íbúi í 102 Reykjavík. Og svo uppáhalds safnið mitt nokkuð sem ég vonast til þess að geti orðið safn einhvern tímann. En það sýning sem helguð ævi og áhrifum Vigdísar Finnbogadóttur og í loftskeytastöðin á Suðurgötu 1. Nú Þórdís Lóa sem opnaði fundin okkar, hún nefnir Hólmsheiði sem útivistarsvæði sitt og Árbæjarsafnið en einnig Elliðaárdalinn líka sem útivistarsvæði. Nú dagskráin, hún hér uppi og hún hérna uppi og ég var beðinn að skipta yfir í ensku núna út af því að við ætlum að kynna fyrsta frummælandann og það hún Rikke Pedersen. She is our keynote speaker. She is the director of marketing and communication as well as behavior and leads the Inspire division of the wonderful Copenhagen, which is the official tourism organization of the capital region of Denmark. Inspire is responsible for tourism attraction as well as international branding of Copenhagen city. The title of our presentation is Tourism as a Superpower and Force for Positive Change. Og ég má bara beða hjertelig velkommen til scenen. Vær så god.
Hi everyone, or good day. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I think it says good morning in Icelandic. I've been looking so much forward to today, to be here with all of you. I don't know if you know it, but you actually have an amazing city, an amazing country, extremely beautiful. This is my first time here and I really love it. So thank you for inviting me here, Inga, to be able to tell a little bit about what we're doing in Copenhagen. And again, my name is Rikke Pedersen, and I'm the Director of Communication, Marketing, Behaviour at Wonderful Copenhagen. My presentation today will be about how tourism has superpowers, and actually how it can be a force for positive change, both locally and globally. First, I will start a little bit on a higher level to tell you a little bit about the strategic foundation we base our work on in Copenhagen, before diving into some of the more specific initiatives we are undertaking. First, we start here on a higher level. As you can see here, this is our vision for Copenhagen's tourism. Tourism is an industry that affects people and the planet, both in really, really good ways, like I'm here now in Iceland enjoying it. But it also affects us in bad ways. Today we're part of the climate problem, but we also believe and work towards being an essential part of the solution in the future. Tourism is an extremely powerful resource if we use it right. It is a unique asset that has the potential to change the world for the better. As an industry, livelihood, and activity for millions of people, it has an inherent power and strength to create a better world. That's why our vision in Copenhagen is that tourism should make the world a better destination. That's where we come from. Well, if we look at the numbers, they're not quite good. Tourism accounts for nearly 8% of global CO2 emissions. Yes, you heard right. 8% of global CO2 emissions. That's quite a lot, right? And when we look at the numbers of international arrivals, they're being predicted to reach 1.8 billion by 2030. Action is more important than ever. We want tourism to be a force for positive change, not an environmental burden. And we also want to create enriching encounters between locals and visitors. Goals that are crucial if we want the tourism industry to address these urgent matters or these urgent challenges related to climate change and over-tourism. So based on that, on the high level, I'll now dive into some of the more specific initiatives that we are doing, and that's the rest of the agenda. So you just know where we come from. And the first topic I'll talk about is over-tourism and how we use dispersal strategies. Or you could also say that how can tourism actually create even more value locally to the neighborhoods and even further out. And secondly, I will talk about how we work with the acceleration of the green transition locally and globally. This summer we launched a new initiative called Copenhagen, and I will tell you a little bit about that. But first we start here. We start with over-tourism and the dispersal strategies, how we're using that in our work in Copenhagen. First, a few numbers. I love numbers, so now you know. So Copenhagen has 12 million bed nights yearly. Yes, and how many of them are coming during high season in summer season? We talk about 1/3 of them, so that's quite a lot. 36% in the summer season. One of the things we're doing is actually thinking Copenhagen bigger, or thinking central. So it's not only central Copenhagen, but thinking it a lot bigger. That's why we call it Copenhagen Beyond. We've invented this concept. One of the things we are doing is that we develop brand narratives for areas beyond central Copenhagen with the areas, so they have an appealing branding and marketing platform to communicate from. And the way we're doing that is we invite municipalities or the different public authorities in these areas. We invite locals, we invite private stakeholders, and based on that we hold workshops and we talk to them and we create different brand narratives. It's quite a good way of doing it because the area then own sort of their own story or their own brand narrative, and it becomes easier for them to implement it afterwards. Here you can see some of the different areas we've been working on. So out to the left, you have Helsingør. It's north of Copenhagen. It takes 30 minutes by train to go there. We have east. It's located in Amager. It's approximately 50 minutes away from central Copenhagen. And we have north, which is 20 minutes away from central Copenhagen. And here actually it's in Danish. I'm so sorry we didn't have it in English, but this is a brand narrative we've made for Helsingør. So it's like a written storytelling. And then based on that, we sort of define 4 different strengths of the area, which the area can promote and talk about when they market their area. So that's one thing, brand narratives, extremely important and a good way for both public and private stakeholders to talk to each other, also locals, and create a story that matches their area. Another thing we're doing is that that geographical spread is reflected in all of our communication. This is our website, and here at the very top, you can see a black square where you will see Copenhagen Beyond. So it's like a concept that visitors will meet in all kind of communication, that there's something called Copenhagen Beyond. Another thing we are doing is that when we organize press visits or pitch stories, we highlight areas beyond central Copenhagen. We have around 250 press visits every year. That's quite a lot. So when they come and they want to write about Copenhagen, we send them to the different areas. And if you look just behind me here, what you see there is the latest example, which is from Condé Nast Traveler. It's a prestigious travel magazine that actually placed one of the areas, the Carlsberg City, on the list of the best places to go in 2024. And that wouldn't have been the case if we hadn't pitched that certain area. What we also experience with the sort of spreading people out is that it's so beneficial for the different areas because there become more life in the areas. When there are tourists, shops can be there. It will be a more vivid atmosphere for the locals to be there. Of course, it shouldn't be too crowded there, but it's really good, both for the locals and also for the tourists to see more of the local life of Copenhagen. Another thing I can also say, it's not part of my presentation, but the way we work with tourists as well is we think them of temporary locals. Temporary locals. So we don't see them as tourists. We like the word guests, but rather prefer temporary locals. So they mingle in and they fit in with the locals in Copenhagen. Another thing we are doing is campaigns. This summer we did it for the second time. We started out last year where we run B2C geographical spread campaigns in central Copenhagen in summer season. So when you were walking around in the city center, you will meet, you would see these advertisements. And they are portraying different areas of Copenhagen where we sort of tell people about the reasons to go to different areas. We also tell them that it's only 20 minutes away. And showcase some of the beautiful things that are in Copenhagen beyond. And another thing, it's not the final thing, sorry. we are doing is city card, and I know you have that in Visit Rikke, or you have it here in Reykjavik as well. Our card is called Copenhagen Card, so that's the official city card of Copenhagen. We have over 80 attractions in the card. I think it's 86 actually to be precise, and it includes public transportation as well. All of the attractions some are both in the central of Copenhagen, but many of them are also beyond. So for instance in Helsingør, or in north, or in east, or in south, or in west. So they're all over the place. And again, remind that public transportation, so if I wanted to go to Helsingør and see the Kronborg Castle up there, it takes 30 minutes. Public transportation is being paid with the card as well. So it's not only in the city center we pay for public transportation, it's being covered. Also when people arrive in the airport, if they have the card, they can go directly to the city center and they use the card for that. So they don't have to buy a public ticket for that as well. Another interesting thing, now I'm here and can talk to you, is that what we see is actually when people buy the card or when they have a city card, they visit the attractions 3 times as many as if they didn't have the card. That's interesting as well, because that's really good for the attractions. Many more go out to the attractions and experience the attractions, especially for the smaller museums or smaller places that don't perhaps get that many visitors. A final thing we are doing is seasonal spread. That has been a major focus and is a major focus for us right at the moment. We've just created a winter narrative. We didn't have that. We only had a narrative of all of the whole of Copenhagen, but mostly during summer season or when the weather was quite good. So now we have developed this winter narrative. I'll show you to it in a second. It's been important for us to have that, so we sort of talk about what are the reasons to go in winter season. What do we actually have to offer? How is it like to be in Copenhagen at that time? And here you can see it's brand new. I've never showed it to anyone, so you're the first audience to see it. But the brand narrative or the winter narrative is Copenhagen is warmest when it's cold. And then we've written down what you can actually experience in wintertime. One of the things, or one of the reasons why we're working with it, as I said before, we have many visitors during summer season. In winter season, we don't have. Copenhagen hotel capacity has increased tremendously during the last couple of years, getting 9,000 more hotel rooms. That's a lot, even for a big city as Copenhagen. So every second hotel room is empty during January, February, and March. That's a lot. So there's a good reason for working with that, but also to making Copenhagen a bit more vivid, warmer, more fun, with more people, especially also for the attractions, but particularly for the hotels as well. And then I'll just show you a little video. That's a campaign we are running right now, a winter campaign to attract visitors. And the markets in particular we are reaching out to is closer markets, also because of sustainability. We want closer markets, so if they could jump on a train, that would be amazing. So that would be Germany, England, it would be Sweden and Norway. So I'll just show you, that's also brand new to you, a short video. Oh, one more time.
Dear traveler, I'm Copenhagen, and I know you think I look like this, but sometimes I look more like this. Snow-covered, sweet, spa-filled, and surprise, swimming is breathtaking during winter. Warm regards, Copenhagen.
Yeah. Yes. Then I'll move on to the other topic. That's a topic I've been talking a lot about the last half year, I would say, or 4 months. That's the acceleration of the green transition locally and globally. This summer we launched a concept or initiative called Copenhagen, and it went viral. All over the place people were talking about Copenhagen. We knew we had a good idea, we knew we had a good incentive, but I've never thought that it would go that crazy. When I go through the concept with you, even though it's of course we're doing this to accelerate the green transition, that's one thing, but also have in mind that this was actually a very good way to create enriching encounters between locals and visitors as well. So have that in mind as well, and we also had many attractions being part of the concept, which was also kind of a dispersal strategies. When we do initiatives or concept like this, we always want as many partners to be part of it, and not only the ones in the central Copenhagen. Again, we want to disperse tourists. So in short, Copenhagen was an initiative we launched this summer. It was a pilot project running for 4 weeks from the middle of July to the middle of August, where visitors and locals could get Copenhagen attractions, yes, you're hearing right, in return for climate-friendly actions. A little bit about why we did it. So you saw a vision before. One of the goals in our new strategy that we just launched, it's called All Inclusive. One of the goals there is to accelerate the green transition locally and globally. And one of the sub-goals is to inspire our guests to make more noticeable and lasting sustainable choices. Yeah. When we started looking at that sub-goal and we're thinking, how could we actually do it? I mean, how could we inspire? We came across a very interesting survey from Kantar that showed that 4 out of 5, they say they want to act sustainable, but how many do you think in real life that is doing that? Only one change behavior. So we want to, but a limited or a few people actually do it. So we wanted to bridge that gap and have use the willingness, because there's so many people that actually want it, to make it a lot easier to actually act sustainable. So there were 2 goals with the initiative. One was actually inspiring to a greener mindset and behavior among travelers, and as well be aware this was an initiative that we only did on the destination. So when people were in Copenhagen, we encouraged them to do that. So it was not part of the travel to Copenhagen. And the second goal, or the second aim of it, was to raise awareness as Copenhagen as a sustainable destination. Not to brand ourselves, but to sort of show people the green solutions we have in Copenhagen so we can inspire others to actually do that. Imagine if we could have more people biking when they got home. That would be amazing. Or take public transportation as well. The concept, in short, what we did was we turned sustainability into a currency and called that Copenhagen. So on the left side, you have all the climate-friendly actions that we wanted people to do. So that would be sustainable travel, biking, walking, taking public transportation, or it could be working in an urban farm, picking litter, etc. And on the other side, we had the rewards that people were given if they did a climate-friendly action. So that would be a free kayak tour, free lunches, drinks, breakfast, etc. Many different things, a guided tour. Here you can see some of it, and you will also see it in a movie in a while. We had 26 partners that were part of Copenhagen, and more wanted to join. Again, as I said, it was a pilot project, so we didn't really know how many partners would join it. We had a goal of 20 partners, but when we got all started, all of the partners, they really wanted to be part of it. And also, after we launched and it became such a huge success, many contacted us, and at a point we said, sorry, you can't be part of it. We're in the middle of it now, so we can't take more partners in. Another important thing about Copenhagen was that it was for all. So it was both for visitors and residents or locals. I've been asked the question, so how many visitors or foreigners do you think you had in the initiatives and how many locals? And I would say it was 50-50, which was really good. That's where we can create enriching encounters between people. We had a landing page as a communication platform, so it showed the 26 attractions. So it said for each of the attractions, this is the climate-friendly actions you should do, and this is the reward you will get. For some of the attractions, you had to sign up because there were certain time slots. It was a trust-based initiative, and again, that's a question I've been asked by I don't know how many journalists, like, are you kidding me? Is this trust-based? And we said, yes, we believe in people. That's part of our society and the way we live in Copenhagen. In some of the attraction, you were asked to show a proof, but not in all of them. And the reason also, I would say, for this is when you want people to act more sustainable, you need to do it attractive, you need to make it easy, you need to make it fun. So this was an easy way to get people started. Here you can just see sort of the whole journey or the whole flow of the initiative. So at the top, that was the awareness part of it. We started out with sending out a press release, and we're crossed our fingers and hoping that some media will take it. Every media took it. Everyone was talking about it. So that was quite insane. When visitors arrived in the airport, they were being welcomed by Copenhagen, where we sort of talked about the concept and how they could participate in it and take part in it. We also had paid SoMe and influencer content, so we had influencers coming and talking about it, telling about it as well. And then we have, below, we have the whole nudging part of Copenhagen. So if you walked around in the streets of central Copenhagen, you would see encouragement to be part of it. It was on buses, it was on bikes everywhere, and then we had the landing page I just talked about, and then if you did an action, you got rewarded for it. Here you can see how it looked like out in the streets. It only says 24, but that's because 2 more came along after we put it out on the streets. And then I'll just show you a little movie of it so you can see it all and also the results of it.
Tourism should make the world a better destination, and we want to inspire to a greener mindset and behavior amongst travelers. But while 82% of tourists want to act more sustainably, only 22% have changed behavior. To bridge the gap, we turn sustainability into a currency. Copenhagen. Copenhagen attractions reward climate-friendly actions. For instance, sustainable actions can unlock a rental bike. A bike ride can pay for ski time. Urban gardening for a free vegetarian lunch. Or collect trash to get the kayak tour for free. 26 attractions made Copenhagen a citywide scheme based on trust and voluntourism.
Well, if you're heading to Denmark's capital, Copenhagen, These are some of the activities on offer,
but only if they take part in environmentally friendly tasks.
New scheme known as Copenhagen.
4,859 news stories.
A trust-based system.
Pick up trash, get a free drink.
Encontrarse con un peculiar sistema que premia el turismo responsable.
So many people talk about Copenhagen now.
111 million in earned media.
Copenhagen
will offset some of the pollution caused by tourism.
Copenhagen became the biggest tourism news story in the world.
Copenhagen's carrot rather than stick approach stands in stark contrast to other European cities fed up with mass tourism, which have brought in
76,000 users visited Copenhagen through our website.
We made the choice, like today, we rode bikes instead of renting a car.
The reason I relied on Copenhagen so much was because of the environmental angle and the fact that it encouraged me to make good choices and gave me the option to easily make good choices consistently.
But I think people in general definitely get another perspective on how to maybe get to work by bike instead of car or by a train or something. So I think it opens their eyes, definitely.
Mit den Handschuhen, finde ich, geht's eigentlich.
Picking up rubbish, it's actually kind of a fun, it's like an adventure. It's like, oh look, I found some more, and it was a fun thing to do.
rewarding their green deeds, such as getting around by foot or by bike.
The attractions gained more visitors. All interviewed tourists felt great about doing good, and 98% would recommend Copenhagen to others.
Just like tiny steps will like do a lot if all of us just like do a little bit.
The model proved so successful, it's already spreading.
Yeah, one of the things I think I liked the most about this was that tourists actually said that this is an opportunity for us to give something back to the city or the place we are visiting. And they also said it was so easy to use. And for the attractions as well, they got more visitors, and some of them had slots in the mornings where they didn't have many visitors at all, so they gave out that for free, so all of a sudden they got full, and then visitors would buy actually more for the attractions. So definitely there was a huge win both for the visitors, for the locals, and for the attractions. Just the last, almost last slide. That's the win for the environment and, the city, and Copenhagen and the city, so that's the impact part. It wasn't as such part of the initiative to sort of really measure all of the impact part, because it was about inspiring to a greener mindset and behavior. Will we do it next year? Yes, for sure. We will do it for 2 months. It's proven so successful, and I think it's a good way for tourism to do better, I would say, to contribute, both locally and globally. Thank you.